Okay, there we go. I figured it out finally. How's everybody doing? Noah, this year you won't have to buy bees. That's pretty good, bud. Is the video up now, Noah? You got me. Brian, feel free to hop on here if you want to. I'm still trying to figure out how to work this thing, and this is my first time using StreamYard, so maybe you could walk me through here. Let's see here. Heading up to dinner. Must be nice. What you eating, bud? Anybody that's got any questions, just use the link and try to log on, and we'll discuss it one-on-one about the series. I appreciate all y'all getting on here and chatting for a little while. You have to forgive me. I'm not the computer savvy type, but we do pretty good at making videos, I think. But that's about it. 37 of them will make it. Yeah, 37 should make it. Brian, I can't say that first word. Sriracha shrimp bowl. All right. Where are you at? Oh, sound like some of them places I've been to. Does the link work up top for anybody that wants to join in on this? Thanks, Kenneth. I appreciate that. In Cleveland, an hour from home. Y'all bear with me. I'm still trying to figure out how to do all this. Hey, somebody do me a favor and click on that link up top. See if it'll let you join this chat. Because I have no clue what I'm doing. Hey, Wildwoods. Nobody. Yeah, somebody, because I don't have a clue if this is working right or not. Going to be 73 degrees in Ohio and 74 in West Virginia. This week's crazy. It's been in the 70s now, but we got some cold weather coming up. 80 in South Louisiana. That's nice. I like warm weather. And I would if I was home 2 hours from my day. Has anybody got any questions on the series we're doing? It's we're doing it for you guys. So if you got any questions, just put them up there and we'll answer them. I know sometimes when we do the videos, it's hard to get everything out there and in a presentable way to where you understand everything. And I don't know. A lot of times I don't even rewatch the videos. So we just try to go through it and put what we think's the most pertinent information in there, and then we'll get comments like, why didn't you say this or why didn't you say that? So we know we missed some stuff or it's not as clear. So that's why we decided to do this. Do I use queen castles? No, I do not. Everything I do is over a double screen board. Every split I make, I normally do it over a double screen board just for the simple reason it's easy. And if it doesn't work out, all you got to do is pull that double screen board out and you can recombine the colony without any issues. We tried the mini mating nukes one time. They're just so hard to, it takes a lot of bee power to do the mini mating nukes and things like that on a big scale, because you got to have bulk bees to put in them, and it really puts you behind. But it's a lot of the commercial guys do it, but we don't. We do everything over a double screen board. Yeah, bees are easier than videos, that's for sure. Hey, Carson, come here. Hey, guys, I want to introduce y'all to the video guy. This is my boy Carson. He does all the videoing. So every video you see, unless it's maybe a short that I do with my cell phone, he's the one that videos. Say hey, Carson.
Hello.
He does a pretty good job at it. He never complains, and he does good, and he enjoys doing it. Corbin, come here a minute. This is Corbin. This is my other boy. He does most of the yeah, who would have thought I had a film crew, right? But Corbin does all the behind the scenes stuff. He's normally working the bees with me in a bee suit, so you can't really tell who he is, but we couldn't do it without him, and they work really hard. You want to say hey?
Hello. Hi.
I think they're camera shy. They got to get over being camera shy. Yeah, we appreciate that, three boys, but it's a lot to do these videos and work the colonies, and I never knew what it was going to take to start a YouTube channel and do it all, but it's we enjoy it a lot. It's very rewarding. Hello, fellas. I'm saying hey to you.
Hello. Hello, Noah.
They're a little shy. Y'all got to get them to come out of their shell a little bit. Let's see here. I missed this one. I use deeps for everything. Going to try queen castles this year. I also use double screen boards for tools, like how you graft and queen right. Queen finish. Yeah, queen bees. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. I've raised queens a lot of different ways, but it's definitely the double screen boards is definitely the easiest way to raise queens. And if it fails, you're not out nothing. You can just combine the colony back and do it again later. So that's the best way to do it. And honestly, we've bought a bunch of double screen boards, used a bunch of different ones, and now we built a bunch, but we buy all ours from Bob because his is the best we've ever found, and they really do hold up. So they're expensive they're not expensive from Bob, but when you have them shipped from Georgia to here, they're pretty expensive. So, but it's well worth it. Yeah, the last one just came up. No, it's out now, so it shouldn't be. You should be able to catch up on it anytime now. And anybody that wants to join in, hop on and we'll chat, bring it up, and see what's going on. Mainly just wanted to do this series though. There's two types of beekeepers. There's beekeepers that's going to stay with it, and then there's beekeepers that's going to have bees for 2 years and get out of it because of the loss of bees. And the beekeeper can do everything right and still lose colonies. We lose colonies. Everybody does. Everybody won't show you that they lose colonies, but they do. And if we can teach somebody to be self-sustainable in beekeeping and with their bees, the main financial obligation is the equipment. And if they can make more bees to put in that equipment, they'll stick with beekeeping more. So that's a good question, Kenneth. Where are you located, Kenneth? Hey, Melanie. Hey, Kodiak. Kenneth, it would depend. It's hard to make bees and honey at the same time. I understand you got to make a good honey crop. It is possible to split later in the season after the honey flow, but you're going to need to feed those bees a lot, unless you have a continuous flow, which most people don't. Our flow starts the middle of March and it's over by June, and after that, they're just not. It's hard to get bees to want to reproduce as much because the queen starts shutting down. The varroa might start raising up, but it can be done. You're just going to have to feed your bees a lot after the split, and it'll depend on how warm the weather stays until you start getting the cold weather, because you also got to get those splits built up and prepared for winter. But it's definitely doable. Maybe make a smaller honey crop and then start going into splitting your bees versus, trying to make a super huge honey crop and then do it later on, split it up over a couple years and do it that way. What's up, Taylor boys? Hey, Melanie, how many days would I recommend waiting to check to see if the queen's emerged and are laying after you drop a cell? After I drop a cell, I normally wait about 3 to 4 days to see if she's emerged. That goes against what a lot of people will tell you. They'll tell you wait 2 weeks or longer. I've never had a problem with it. Just be gentle with the colony. Don't go beating it around, and use light smoke and be real careful. Don't be real intrusive. And once you see that cell's emerged, I even like to find the virgin running around. She's pretty easy to find because she's quick. And as soon as I find her, I close it back up. And I normally don't have a problem with any acceptance with that. And then I wait about 2 to 2.5 weeks before I verify if she's got eggs. And if there's no eggs at that point, I go ahead and kill her and put a new cell in. Never been on a live. Well, hop on, Noah.
I think he's already on.
Are you on here? Oh, how do I put you up here? Hold on a minute. Hey, Noah, what's up?
He's on mute.
I'm on, but there's a terrible echo, buddy. Oh, not a whole lot, Craig. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you? I'm glad you're on here. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun with it. I'm trying to catch up on these comments. Kenneth, your flow will be over July 4th. When's your first frost, Kenneth? July. We normally stop making splits in September for us. That's the last splits we'll make. So that gives us from March to September to do this series, and we're going to do the series, and we're hoping to build those 2 colonies from 2 to 32 and see what we can get. A lot of variables play into it, and it's not guaranteed that we'll get to that number, but we're going to try. Another thing to keep in mind is we're using drone comb, and the drone comb makes it a lot easier to split these colonies. So if you don't have drone comb, it's going to put you back even further. So don't think that you can take 2 and make 32 without drone comb. You have to be more realistic and maybe settle for 15 to 20.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think I got it figured out.
The boys are like, he's on, Dad.
This is my first time doing this too. I've never been live on YouTube. Well, I shouldn't say I've never been live.
Everybody, come on. They never see you. Hold on. Y'all never get to see the backbone of the operation, but this is Lindsay. This is my wife, and you got to come on over here.
Hello.
She keeps me in line and makes sure all the honey's sold, and we get everything taken care of the way it's supposed to be. So if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be doing this. So
that's awesome. My wife runs away anytime I'm getting close to bees.
Well, she don't get out in the bee yard much. I'll go ahead and tell you that. But it's
I work a full-time job.
she should have.
I don't have time,
she
and
should-
then I'm running kids everywhere.
She should have retired sooner. but she does all the background stuff. She does all the honey orders, the sales, and all that. So it's without that, I couldn't do any of it. So we really
That's
appreciate
awesome.
Well, thank you. Nice to meet you.
There's a bunch of people on here. But
Is my video froze? I think my video froze.
it did, but I still see you, but it's froze. Hey, John, what's up? Yeah, you're right, Taylor, boy. Man, she is the boss. Melanie says, hey, you're doing a great job, Lindsay. What's my best recommendation? Hold on, I'm trying to catch up with some of these comments. Melanie, we were hearing don't bother them for 3 weeks or so, but we just didn't want to wait and let them go to a weigh and lay-in worker if she didn't emerge. Usually the cells emerge if they don't get chilled, but you can definitely check them a lot earlier than that. You don't have to. You don't have to. There's just like everybody says you can't graft cells unless they've been queenless for 24 hours. We proved that wrong, and we showed you can do it. You just have to be careful with it. You can go in there 2 or 3 days after they should emerge and check and see if they're out. If nothing else, just look at the cell without really disturbing the colony and say, hey, yeah, she's emerged, she's in there, and then give it a couple of days to settle in and for them to kind of get to know that queen and then go back in and look at it. But yeah, you'll be fine with it. What's the best recommendation for getting them to draw comb? It's not hard to get them to draw comb during a honey flow. Don't use a queen excluder, or if you do, bait it. As far as take an already drawn comb and put it up top and let them start working that, or even pull some brood combs up top to where the bees are enticed to get up into that super and start working. And if it's not during a honey flow, or feed light syrup, less than 1 to 1, and just keep feeding them all you can feed them, and they'll draw comb. But you have to understand it's hard to get bees to draw comb when they don't want to draw comb. After the honey flow, we feed a lot to get comb drawn out. So that takes a lot to do that. But you can definitely do it. But just put some brood up in that. If you're going to use a queen excluder, you put a bait frame of brood up top, not sealed brood. It needs to be eggs and larvae, of all different stages. And that'll the bees will come up to take care of that brood, and then they'll start drawing out that super for you pretty good. And I would, if you're not in a honey flow, I would feed at that time too. Or if you don't care about selling marketable honey off the colony, I would still feed it. I'd make sure they had plenty of food. Usually October 1st, Kenneth. Yeah, you'll be fine. You can split the into September as long as you're doing good. Brian, you sound busy, bud. That's a lot. 500 jars for honey. You got it going on. Yeah. Taylor boys, you're right next to us. You're not far. Our bees are, they're ready to start drawing too. But we're mainly just focused on this series right now. But we'll try to get that going. Noah, did I lose you? Hold on. Sorry, bud, I lost you.
You're good, buddy.
But yeah, drawing comb's good. It's a good thing to do, especially after the honey flow. If you've got the money to feed your bees constantly, and it gets expensive to feed, but if you can feed them that thin syrup, they'll draw comb. And I even recommend feeding pollen supplement too. Keep that queen wanting to raise brood, and they're gonna draw comb for you. Thank you, Kentucky guy. We appreciate that. Noah, how's your bees?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I actually went into winter last year with 40, and looks like I'm going to be coming out with 38. There's a chance that one might die. One colony might die. They were down to about a frame and a half, but I'm North Central West Virginia beekeeper, so I'm fortunate right now with the winter that we've had. They've done pretty well.
Now, do you have a double screen board?
I don't, but I have some. I've never used them yet. I actually bought them last year and ended up not using them. I do plan to do that this year. I'm going to try to split some early, and if I can get them split early enough, I'm just going to set them right back on top of the hives and let the heat come up. That way, I can try to get started a little earlier this year.
Yeah, I was going to say that one that's 1 or 2 frames you were mentioning. If you want to go ahead and take it off and put it over a double screen board of a strong colony, it'll benefit them a lot with that heat coming up, and it won't hurt anything. It won't set them back any. You still may lose it, but at least they'll be able to share some of that heat from that stronger colony. You still there, Noah? I think I lost you. Your audio. John, you ready to get you some bees yet? Or are you still learning? Greg, that's a good question. What's my percentage of mated queens coming back over a double screen board? First off, our spring weather is very chaotic, so to speak. It's cold, it's wet, and it's windy all the time. We have a strong wind every day, and it makes it hard for the queens to come back in general anyway, especially early in the spring. But I have found that we run hives on pallets. We're not going to be doing that so much in this series, but most of our beehives are on pallets so we can move them with the loader. But with the hives that are on pallets, so a lot of times those queens will come back and they'll get confused because, it's just a giant yard of about 30 or 40 hives, and they can get really confused on where to go. The wind can blow them off course. But without the wind and the weather relations on a double screen board, with that entrance up higher or reverse to the back, we have about a 85% success rate with the mated queens coming back, versus about a 30% chance without it. You're welcome, Melanie. Go to your Zoom meeting, enjoyed it. Thanks for stopping by, and let us know if you got any questions. We appreciate you. Hey, Hope. We've started now for the series just because we're trying to build our with the series. We're trying to get to 32 colonies just to show you how you can build bees up. Now that's an arbitrary number because all the issues that can go on and weather conditions and things like that. But typically we won't start raising queens for our you want to say hey, Cameron?
Sure.
Come on. And this is our little girl Cameron. She just got back from dance, but she wanted to say hey. She helps us out a lot too. She makes honey and bottles and does all the good stuff. But girl, you half naked. Get on out of here.
I don't do it a lot. I
Uh,
do it sometimes.
All right.
Or not sometimes.
Sorry, Hope, but we won't start grafting for our production colonies and things like that and nukes until probably the second week in March. That'd be a good time for us. About the second week in March, Taylor Boys is when we'll start. Just because we've got drones now, but it's not a lot. And even in this series, those queens may not come back mated, but they should. There should be enough drones around with our other colonies, but if not, we'll have to raise more queens and put more queens in there. But typically around the second week of March, we have good success with mated queens coming back. Greg, that sounds good. I'm planning on putting 60 in use next week. I'm also on pallets, just trying to get away from 3-frame mating nukes earlier in the year. Are you planning on putting 60 cells in next week? Is that what you're saying? And I'm not sure where you're at. You may have told me, but I may have lost it. But I hope that goes good for you. I don't like 3-frame mating nukes and all that. We have a lot of hive beetles, and it's just easier for us to. The way we split when we regularly are splitting most of the time is we'll bring what brood we think we want in our split in another box over the hive we're splitting. Say we got our deep on the bottom, and that's the one we're going to split from. We'll bring 3 or 4 frames of brood up top over a queen excluder. We'll make sure the queen's in the bottom box. And you can just simply shake all the bees off the frames you're going to use for you split into that bottom box, put them up top in a separate box with that, brood of all stages, put a queen excluder in between them. And the bees will actually equalize those boxes out better than we can do it. Sometimes you'll hear beekeepers say, well, I'll give a few extra shakes of bees, and that's a good idea, but the bees know how to equalize those colonies out better than we do. And when they do that, we'll let it sit there for a day or two, let it get equalized. We know the queen's in the bottom, so then we'll just take that colony off, that deep off of that other one, close the bottom one up because it's queen right, and then we'll take that one off and we'll give it a day, and then we'll put a cell in, or give it a few hours later in that afternoon and put a cell in, and it typically works the best for us. Okay, Greg, 60 double screen board splits in next week. That's awesome. Sales be ready starting Tuesday. Yep, you'll have great success with that. And just remember, if it don't work, you can just pull it out, pull that double screen board out, give it a few days, and do it again. That's the best thing about them. Wildwoods, I think I missed your comment. Were you talking to me or? Yeah, ours are really gearing up, Taylor. Boy, they're starting to blow up. Hope ours are too. You're having to add. I lost you. Hold on a minute. Having to add deeps to all your singles just to give them room. Yeah, it's that time of year. It's here. The bees it may not be here, but the bees think it's here. What typically happens with us? We get a cold snap that kills all the blooms and sets them back, and then there's no forage. Then we have to feed them before they so they don't starve. But once it kicks off, it really kicks off for us, and it don't take long. And we typically run our honey supers during the season like everybody else, but we overwinter in singles. It's so much easier to do it. If it gets below 30 degrees or whatever, and the bees can't move over, they'll starve to death. But with a single, I can lay a sugar block on the whole colony, and they're always in contact with food. It's easier to work. It's easier to split with. You don't have to manipulate them in the spring. All you got to do is split them or add boxes, add supers to them, because they naturally want to build up anyway. And if you've got a deep, 2 deeps or whatever, and some places you may need 2 deeps, but we don't where we're at. You know, we get them real heavy before winter and we go on, but it just saves us a lot of work from having to reverse the boxes because the bees want to move up, and helps us with our swarming and all that. You've made 2 splits and about to make a 3rd. That's good, man. Congratulations. I hope you have a good season. Our season's just beginning, and I think this video series is going to keep us pretty busy, but I think a lot of people will really benefit from it and enjoy it. Anybody else wants to hop on, feel free. It's I'll add you on here. We can all chat. I'm new to this StreamYard thing, but there's the link right there if anybody wants to hop on and ask questions directly or whatever. You're welcome to. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. I hope it helps you out. If you ever have any questions, shoot us an email, leave us a comment. We'll be glad to help you. Yeah, double deep 5-frame nukes would probably be more ideal than regular double deeps, but we don't run many actual nuke boxes because we don't really have room to store everything, but that wouldn't be a bad idea. And then we sell some off every year. And but yeah, you could do that. Michael Palmer is a genius on running nuke boxes through winter. I've never really ran many nuke boxes through winter, but you can definitely do it. And you could probably figure out a way to do 2 nukes over a double screen board somehow, and it'd work really well too. I'm not sure exactly how Michael does his, but he does it good. So if you're not familiar with Michael Palmer, check him out. He's got some stuff on YouTube. Kent Williams is also another good resource. He's on YouTube. He's taught me a lot over the years, and I guess he helped me out probably close to 30 years ago with some questions I had, and he's been really good. What happened, Noah? Did it kick you off, or was it your internet or something on my end, or what? I'm new to this, so I don't know. But if anybody wants to try to join in to see if it's on my side or something going on, let me know. Michael, you're in Darlington. You're not that far from us. We're in Gastonia, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, no, if you get it worked out, just feel free to hop back on. Sawmill Charlie, you need to pin the link to the top. I'm not sure I know how to do that, Sawmill. Am I planning for growth this year for the other than the series? No, I'm not. We're about at max capacity. We've got about all we can handle with about 100 colonies, and we can't. I mean, that's pushing it. This series will put it up to about 110 32 or so. So we're going to try to stay where we're at. We're not ready to start pollinating yet or anything like that, but we're going to try to stay where we are. Is that what y'all are talking about? Posting the link? I'm not sure about how to pin it, but I can put it in there. Two single nukes under a double deep hive body with an excluder for honey production, and it works. That's interesting. I've never thought about that, but that's pretty neat. Pretty neat. Sorry, my bald head was shining into the screen. It's kind of crazy. One week I'm clean shaven. Next week I got a beard. So y'all never know who I am. So sorry about that. Queen V, yeah, anytime. We're going to do these quite often through the series, just in case anybody has any questions on it. We try to cover everything in the videos, but I'm sure we leave stuff out. Noah's back. Hey, Noah.
Hey, buddy, can you hear me now?
I got you, man. I got you.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal was there.
Well, you put me behind a computer, and I'm lost like last year's Easter egg, man. It's terrible.
That's funny.
I can barely use my telephone. I do good to get videos uploaded to YouTube, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, you do a good job, buddy, and I appreciate the videos. I enjoy watching them.
Well, we appreciate you, and I tell you what, we don't edit anything. Literally, I take the video off my camera, put it in my computer, and we use Lightworks, and we just transfer them over there in the order that they came, and we hit publish and export, and that's it. Because I don't know how to do anything else. And if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But we try to do the best we can.
Well, I think you do a fine job, buddy.
We appreciate that.
Looks like some other people might be wanting to join too. I think I might have it figured out.
I don't. Maybe I have to click something else for somebody else.
Well, they were talking about there were some other people saying they might try to join with their phone too.
Gotcha. Daniel, would I be willing to have someone come grafting just to watch and maybe try? I would make the drive to Gastonia. I'm perfectly fine with that. You just let me know. What's up, Randy? Hey, buddy. How are you, man? Feel free to hop on, Randy, if you want to. I'd love to see you, man. Yeah, and we're looking at doing. You're going to learn more about grafting in the series we're doing. It's coming up later as we start making more splits and grafting more queens. So you're welcome to do that. You in the dark? Are you? I bet you are. But you'll get. We're going to go more in depth with grafting. So I would wait and see if that works. But absolutely, if you need help with it, you just reach out and let me know, and we'll walk you through it. Nothing too grafting. People make it sound harder than it is. And if you mess it up, just keep trying until you get it right. I mean, you're not going to hurt anything, and you'll be good to go.
Hey, Craig.
Hey, bud, how do I pin that link?
You got to go over to the YouTube side of the screen.
Where's that at?
Well, are you on a laptop or what are you?
I'm on a laptop.
Okay.
I see my YouTube channel dashboard.
All right. So go to the YouTube channel dashboard. Now, instead of go down there and click on the ones that are going this way. That way you'll get everybody in the same screen. See the different, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. Now everybody gets to see everybody.
Now, is that all I need to do?
Oh, there's Lee. Lee will get you.
There we go.
Look at this guy.
Oh, we're getting it going on now.
Is that too bad to see?
He dropped it.
We can see you.
All righty. Sorry, I have a 2-hour drive every day back and forth to work.
Randy, are you out there like literally in the dark working like normal?
All right, Craig, did you silence your volume on the YouTube side before you went to? You hear the feedback?
I do.
All right,
But
if you go up on the top of your screen, you got two tabs. You got your YouTube side and your StreamYard side.
okay.
Go to click on the tab. It says YouTube, and then turn the volume off.
Do I need to be on like my channel dashboard, or do I need to be somewhere else?
Lee, can you help him out?
Are you in the studio where it just shows like your active viewers, or you got the actual live stream open in a window?
I don't know. I'm in my studio.
Okay, you got your comments on the right scrolling down.
No.
Click on the comments.
I'm about to
Okay,
say
hold
without
on.
seeing it, I couldn't tell you.
In your studio, you got comments and private chat on the right-hand side, right?
Hold on a minute. Lord, I don't know. Y'all killing me.
Don't feel bad, buddy. I'm in the same boat.
Well, that's why you get Lee here. He was my engineer to get me started in my channel on Friday nights.
Yeah, burn candle at both ends. I'm gonna have to call and tell him give you a break, Randy.
I told Randy he looks better in the dark anyway.
Did that help with the feedback at all?
I don't hear it as bad now.
Yeah, looks. Did you? Well, you went back to YouTube screen, right? With the.
Yeah, I just started clicking stuff.
Well, you clicked off the volume button.
Okay. But yeah, I'm glad to have y'all on here. But yeah, this series is it's just basically to help people stay sustainable in beekeeping. It's not easy, and most people lose bees, and I lose bees. But if you can make bees, you'll be fine. So that's what we're going for, and that's what this series is all about. And we're gonna keep going. Like I said, our goal's 32 out of those 2 colonies, and that one's a dink. So it's not looking too good for that one. So we're going to put a cell in it, see if we can't get it straightened out. May end up putting a 48-hour cell in it tomorrow if they hadn't already capped it, and let them finish raising it out themselves to see if that increases the odds of it.
You think you got enough worker bees in there to keep them good and warm for that?
Yeah, we've been adding brood to it from the other colony for about a week or so every other day, and they're looking good as far as bee population. But I honestly don't know what's going on with it. I opened it up for the first time of the season, and they look good, but they had a supersedure cell, and I kill all supersedure cells. Everybody's like, no, but I don't want those genetics at all. I don't want them, especially coming out of winter. So I kill them. I get rid of them, and I fix the problem later, or I honestly shake the bees out. That's hard to do for somebody that doesn't have a lot of colonies, and I get that. So that's why we're trying to show you how to fix it. So we've given them brood, we've given them eggs and larvae to see if they would attempt to raise a queen cell, and they have. They've tried, but they're just not getting on it. They're not being successful with it. So the only other course of action I know of would be a mated queen, but I don't have access to a mated queen right now, or a cell. A cell will generally work. Now, I honestly don't think that colony would accept a mated queen anyway, just by the way they're acting. So we're going to go with a cell and see what happens, and hopefully it'll work, but no guarantees on that. So our fingers are crossed.
What would your recommendation be for a first time using a double screen board?
As in what? Making a split?
Making a split.
I
got a colony that's about to, just bust out. It It was a 10 frame deep with a medium on top, and I mean they were just overflowing.
What I would do is I would figure out what brood that I would have wanted to pull up and make my split with, and I would shake all the bees off of that into the bottom box, so you know the queen's in the very bottom, and I'd put a queen excluder in between them. That way the bees will come up and they'll equalize that box the way the bees know how to equalize it. They do better than we do. We're not good at it. We'll shake extra bees in it, and you come back a day or two later and there's hardly any bees in the box.
Most of your chargers done flew back.
Right. So if you shake all the bees off the split frames that you're going to put above it and put that queen excluder in it, the nurse bees will come up and equalize that colony the way they see fit. And what I would do then, are you going to add a cell to it, or are you just going to let them raise their own queen?
I think I'm just going to make sure they got some eggs and larvae in there and let them raise their own.
And at that point, I would just, as soon as you've got your split made, let them set for a day or two to equalize everything out over that queen excluder. And then whenever you're ready to make your split, pull the queen excluder off, make sure you shake it off into the bottom box, and put your double screen board on with the entrance facing the opposite direction of the main entrance, and it'll work out good for you.
Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking. I just needed a little verification to make sure that's what I was doing correct.
Now, when you're setting up your cell builder with that double screen board, how are you? All right, let's say you want to put 30 cells in. How are you going to get your population in there of nurse bees, and are you going to shake bees off, down in that box to get that population up in order to drop that frame in there? And then
what I do is I get a deep box. I start a colony as a double deep. Okay. And I get them going. I get them going good. And then I find the queen and I put her up top. After she's laid brood and everything in the bottom box, I make sure it's populated and it's doing good like a normal beehive should be.
Right.
And then I'll put that queen in the top box and a queen excluder in between them. I will let that brood in the bottom box hatch and emerge. And then I've got plenty of nurse bees in that bottom box. It's still not going to be enough. Okay, then I'll go through other colonies. And when I do that, there's no eggs or larvae because it's all hatched and emerged. But they've got plenty of resources as far as stores, pollen, nectar, and all that stuff. And I'll also put a frame feeder in there full of 1-to-1 sugar syrup and a pollen pallet. And I'll do that a day or two before I get ready to graft, to get them really primed up, all juiced up, ready to make queens. And then I'll take the top box, I'll set it to the side, and I'll put me either a feeder rim around it, or I'll put just a box to shake bees into, and I'll go through some other strong colonies, and I will shake all the nurse bees I can. Make sure you find the queen, obviously, but shake all the nurse bees you possibly can into that box. All right, and I'll let that sit typically for 24 hours queenless. And while that's queenless, I will a day or two after that, I'll come back and look and make sure there's not another queen that was in the box that I missed. So sometimes there's two. Make sure there's no eggs, no larvae, or no cells started. And once that's happened and I know we're good, I will take a frame of pollen and a frame of nectar or stores and put it right beside where I'm going to put my graft frame. Then I'll drop that frame in, and I'll put a double screen board on top of that. Okay, the bottom box is queenless. All the foragers is going to come back to that bottom box and superpopulate it, and they're still going to be bringing in the pollen and the nectar that you need to raise those queens. After 48 hours, most people say 24 hours to come back. I do 48. I have better success after 48 hours.
Yeah, Bob, Benny, and Seth and them said the same thing, 48 hours.
I have better success at 48 hours. I'll come back and I'll see what my grafts looks like. And if they're accepted and look good, perfect. And then what I'll do is I'll take my double screen board off, and I'll flip-flop the boxes. I'll put the cell builder on the top and the queen right portion on the bottom with the queen excluder in between them. And what that is, they started drawing the cells out as an emergency response, and they'll draw about all of them out because they don't have a queen. But typically, they don't. In an emergency response, they'll tear down most of them because they don't need that many cells. They'll start them, but they won't keep them. So whenever you take that double screen board out and you put that queen excluder back on, the colony's queen right at that point. And when they're queen right at that point, they will finish drawing those cells out under the swarm response, if that makes any sense, because they're super populated. There's cells in there, and they'll draw them out as a swarm response. And then day 8, they should be capped, and I transfer them out of there, and I put them in my incubator at the house.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It's not.
No, it's not that bad.
It sounds bad, but it's not, and it's really, really simple.
Yeah. Now, what I've been doing is I usually let's say a 5/5 nuke box, but normally I'll pull the queen out and then I'll shake everybody down into that one box. And I have been successful with that, but I have seen it like at Hive Life last year and this year where, like they say, they explain what you did. And I was going to do that last year, but I just didn't have, it seemed like I ran out of time or something.
Right.
And all that. But I was always curious, like, how do you get enough bees down there to really, like last year I had a nuke it was a 5/5. It was queenless. And I said, it was bees from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And I shoved them all down into that bottom nuke. And of course, a third of them are hanging out the front.
Right.
But then you drop that cell down in there, cell bar, and boom, they're all inside, working.
Well, there's so many, Bob Benny made the double screen board popular on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
The double screen board's been around. I've been keeping bees close to 30 years now, and it's been around ever since I started. But a lot of beekeepers are just catching on to how useful they really are in all different aspects of beekeeping. And thank goodness Bob put it on there. So more people are.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is it's became popular. You don't see this kind of stuff in bee books. No. And then you got videos now. Everybody like you, me, we're all putting videos out, and most people are visual learners.
Right.
Oh, they watch it. Okay, now I understand it. And if
Absolutely.
you're good at explaining, like I watched your last number 3 and number 4 today, and then it clicks. It makes sense. But like I say, that was one thing. No, the mechanics of it it was perfect. It was just like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, how do I get that bottom box just crammed full of bees, of nurse bees, with
you
that?
Just you rob from the rich and give to the poor.
Yeah, well, I have to go around all the rest of my hives and do that.
Yeah, even if it's only a frame, from one colony, it's not going to set them back that far, and it's really going to boost that population up. And you've also, unless you're going to make several rounds of queens, you just made another split right there because it's queenless. Drop it a cell when your cells are done and move it off to another colony.
Yeah, well, see, that's if you're going to make multiple rounds, I usually try to graft like I'll say once a week,
right?
And do it that.
Go ahead.
How are you going to keep? I don't know. I talked to, I think it was Seth, who works for Bob Benny, a year ago at High Life. And I said, why are you, they were talking about, you want to maybe do 2 rounds in that one hive and then go to another hive because of they're getting old or whatever.
Well, you can't push nurse bees, but so much. Nurse bees can only do so much, and they can only do their job so long before they change to a different stage of bee. And nurse bees will. What we do is we just add brood from other colonies.
Well, that's what with me for the queenless hive like that, I just kept. If you keep adding frames of cat brood in there, and they'll keep hatching, it'll keep on going. It seems like.
See, the only way I've made split so far is just like a walk away split, and I'd put it into a 5-frame nuke. In order to get more nurse bees, I would take a little plastic container, whatever, shake 2 or 3 frames of bees in it, let all the foragers fly out, and pretty much anything that's left is your nurse bees.
That's exactly how I did it.
I would pour those into my 5-frame nuke.
Another thing you could do is if you put your queen excluder in there, bring some brood up top,
Yeah.
top box, put a queen excluder in. I mean, shake all the bees off, and then let whatever's coming up through the queen excluder to cover that brood. You definitely know she's nurse bees.
How Ian Stepler does that when he does his
Yeah.
splits.
Yeah,
And
there's so much good information on YouTube now. I mean, when I started, we didn't even have the internet. I mean, we had
That's
books.
literally how I did it. This is my 4th year into beekeeping, and I read books and stuff, but between YouTube and hands-on, that was absolutely the best thing that could have happened to me.
But
I
mean, don't get me wrong, I've killed a bunch of bees, a lot.
I did a few.
Until I got it kind of figured out, and I still don't have it all the way figured out, and I never will. But
no,
I've read the Hive and the Honeybee cover to cover. I'm on my second read through it now, and it still confuses me. And and I get mixed up sometimes. And like today, I was about to flip flop that cell builder because that's what I'm used to doing. But you got to remember, if I do that, there's no brood in that bottom box right now, and it's cold outside, and all my bees are going to go up to that brood, and those cells would have chilled. So I had to catch myself and say, "Oh, this is a bad idea. Don't do this, or we're going to lose these cells." And so it's little things like that you got to remember. Is the little nuances that maybe if I can share that with somebody, hey, these bees are not going to stay down here in this box if I put the queen excluder on like I would normally do and make it a queen right cell finisher, because they're going to go up to the brood and keep it warm, and those cells are going to chill. It's little things like that. If somebody did that and they said, well, I did this and it didn't work. Well, I've done it and it didn't work too. But, if I can share that and maybe prevent it from happening in the first place, hey, everybody's winning.
this guy. No, you got your YouTube. Let's see. Have you got your YouTube volume still on?
No, it shouldn't be on at all. I don't know. It's not on.
But I say
Okay.
sometimes it just depends on, it'll create an echo if you're not using headphones a lot of time. Whenever it's coming out your speakers, it's going back through the microphone.
Yeah, I ain't got no headphones.
Now StreamYard kind of cancels some of it, but it's not perfect.
All right, guys. Well, I don't want to hurt this. I'm going to hop off here. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Noah, anytime, man. We're going to do this maybe once every couple of weeks just to answer any questions that's going on with the series, because I can't cover it all in the videos. We try, but I know it leaves a lot of questions. So that's why we're doing it. If you got any questions, shoot me an email, hit me up, leave a comment, and we'll get going on it, and we'll get you squared away.
Absolutely, guys. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Have a good one.
Let's see. Craig, you had us worried when you disappeared, but now you've come out strong enjoying the series. Well, I didn't disappear. I was just decidedly out of the country, not by choice, but not many people know what else I do, and I don't discuss it on YouTube. Randy knows, but sometimes I'm going to be gone, and but I'll try to be back as much as I can. But unfortunately, when they say I have to go, I do have to go. So, but we'll definitely keep the videos coming as long as we can. I don't have anything scheduled to go out of the country, or anywhere else. But I'm back. Should be at least for this season. But I appreciate you being worried. I was a little worried sometimes too.
Where exactly are you located at, Greg?
I'm just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina,
Okay.
in Gastonia. Where are you at again?
Louisiana. I'm about 10 miles southeast of Baton Rouge.
You know them Duck Dynasty characters down there?
They're about 5 hours north of me, up around
5
Monroe.
hours north of you. Okay. I don't know the I've never been to Louisiana. I'd love to live there. It sounds like a hunter and fisherman's paradise, but
Pretty much.
yeah.
Well, part of Louisiana's slogan is sportsman's paradise.
Yeah, I could definitely get along with that.
Now, the humidity I'm not big on. I think Thursday or Friday, we're supposed to be like 89 degrees down here already.
There's Bob. Who is just J. Paul down there and Homer? That he
Homer?
talks-
Yeah,
Yeah. Or was that
Homer.
your what is it? Your niece lives down there or something like that?
Yeah.
They go
My-
to church with J. Paul.
Yeah, my niece, her husband, my goddaughter, and all them, they all go to church together with him.
And all.
Randy, I'm not a champion at anything but taking orders. International X Games champion. I can barely walk anymore.
I'm having that problem myself. I started gaining a little bit of weight. I had to go renew my DOT physical today, and they told me my weight. I told my old lady, I said, I got to go on a diet.
I had to get a waiver for mine.
Dang. Well, I don't do nothing but sit in a crane all day.
Oh, Lord. Russell, do I retail my honey or wholesale it by the barrel? Neither one, really. We make a lot and we last throughout the year with it most of the time. Sometimes we run out, but most of ours, I've been doing this for a long time, so I've built up customers since I was a kid, honestly, and they've been buying it forever from my house. We have it in local boutiques and things like that. We're certified honey producers, but we don't have it in like Walmart or anything like that. It's all small. Whenever you go to putting it in like Walmart and things like that, it gets real hectic, and the accountability is so much. I don't want to deal with it. The most we really sell is about like 5 gallons at a time to people or something like that. There's some restaurants that buy it, 5 gallons at a time and things like that. But as far as, retailing, we mainly sell it just from word of mouth, and we do really good with it, but we've been doing it a long time. And currently, this is the first year we've went up on our prices with honey. We went up to $13 a pound this year, just because everything else has went up. But what are y'all getting for your honey prices?
Down here where I'm at right now, I've been doing mine at the farmer's market for $9 a pound, but I'm about to go to 10. Mainly, I'd say most of my area is 10, maybe $11 a pound current.
I'm up here in Maryland, close to Baltimore. It's $10, 10 to 12. It ranges.
Philip, you know too much.
Philip might have disappeared now, huh?
He knows too much, don't he? Grammy, international man of mystery. It's not that mysterious. It's just something I don't put out on the internet. But yeah, my biggest claim to fame is YouTube. And as you can see, I'm not very famous.
I'm far from it. I'm trying to build up.
Hey, it'll happen, man. I don't know how ours grew as good as it did or as well as it did. I honestly don't know. But
I think I'm about 420, 422 subs right now, and I've already talked with Terry Chapman at Guardian Bee Apparel. Once I hit 500, I'm doing a giveaway for a free Guardian Bee Apparel
that's
jacket
awesome, man.
or full suit.
Well, see, like Randy's at 15 a pound in glass. See, well, glass is more expensive too, though, but it makes such a better product. I mean, it looks so much better. You just can't put honey in a plastic bottle and make it look good. So, Randy, you're on top of things with that. But yeah, I don't know how. Like one of my videos just recently got almost 15,000 views, and that's extremely high for us. I mean, we normally hit around maybe 2,000, in the lifetime of the video, but that one did really well. I think we went up like 800 and something subscribers this month, and I don't know what we're doing. We're not doing anything different, but we're grateful for anybody that watches or hits that subscribe or like button, and getting on these. We're grateful for that too.
Yep.
24 ounces of honey in a pint. So Randy, you came down to 12, not 15 when COVID started. Was that just to move honey, or was it to help people out, or am I reading that right? I think Randy's still in the dark.
Well, on these live streams, whenever you say something, it's usually about a 10 to 15-second delay before they get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, Craig, if you go back to the YouTube channel and drop that link in, there'll be 3 dots alongside of it. Click on that, and it'll say pin to the top.
Hold
And
on.
that way everybody can see it if anybody else wants to come in.
I see add to queue. But I don't see.
Are you at the YouTube?
You on the YouTube studio or the StreamYard studio? Because you'd have to pin it through the YouTube side.
Yeah, to pin it to the YouTube.
I'm on the StreamYard studio right now.
All right. If you got 2 tabs at the top, right? StreamYard, and it says Beekeeping, stop buying bees, right? In YouTube. See the 2 tabs up top of your screen?
Okay, hold on a minute. I'm on the YouTube tab now.
All right. Drop your link in your invite link into the chat, and then right next door to it, it'll be 3 little dots. Click on them dots and it'll say pin to top. Click on pin to top. And it'll go up to the top of your chat bar and stay there. So people can click on it if they want to come on.
Okay, I'm trying. Hold on a minute.
Do what?
Oh, I think I just posted the wrong thing.
Yeah, there you are. You got it. Now go to the right of it where the 3 dots are.
Okay.
And it says pin to the top. Click on pin to the top.
Mine's not saying. Hold on. Here. I'm still trying to find pin to the top.
No, you're on the YouTube side, right? Not StreamYard.
Right.
Now, right next to that link that you just dropped in, if you hover your mouse over it, you should get 3 little dots next to it.
Okay, hold on.
Click those 3 dots and it should say something about pin to top
message.
Pin message.
Message pin. Okay.
Yep, now it's pinned. I see it. Now
Yep,
it's going
there it is. Now it's pinned.
It'll stay at the top of that for everybody full time. That way you don't have to keep dropping the link every
And
time.
then see, Bob just got it.
No, I was already sitting down there while he was trying to pin it. I went scroll back and found it. I was like, I didn't get the invite to this party. What's going on?
That's what I told Charlie earlier. He said, "Is he going to drop the link?" I said, "Scroll to the top of the chat. It's in there."
Man, good to see you fellas tonight. Hey, Craig. And we should not have. I'm hardwired to the internet, so it shouldn't be any problem tonight.
You got that drill out?
No, it's running down the hallway right now. But this weekend it's going to get fixed. Right.
Better than nothing.
850 megabits a second download. So
is that better, everybody?
Yeah,
they
man.
should be able to see it.
Hey, Bob, what's up, man?
Not much. You're the closest beekeeper to me that I haven't met yet in person. You're just right down the road from me.
Hold on, this thing's back feeding and everything else. Hold on a minute.
Go back to YouTube. Is your YouTube
Can I just close out of my YouTube thing?
YouTube side you can, as long as you
Right
don't
click
close
it,
the
mute it.
StreamYard.
Right click the tab and hit mute.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a good idea. Right click and mute the site.
Hey, how about that? Bam, done.
Perfect.
Site muted.
Yeah, now there's no feedback.
Now you're gonna be going crazy when you go to watch a video and can't figure out why the sound ain't working.
Man, I can't figure out anything on the computer. It's terrible.
Well,
I saw
we're here
your
to help
queens.
you.
That's
I
why
saw your
Charlie
queens.
Charlie
Oh
called
man,
me.
they look good.
Those are both from vertical splits off of a double screen bottom board. So
Yep, they look good. I just can't see the red, so mine's gonna have to be yellow again this year.
are you red green colorblind?
No, I'm not colorblind. I just don't pick up on it good. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. I have to have something bright and neon.
Right.
But no, they Craig, you're a computer genius. Yeah, nah, not at all.
Those are the first two of the year for me. So hopefully I'm gonna graft on Sunday. That's my plan, to graft this Sunday.
Yeah, we just grafted 5 sales to make for the split series we're doing, and they all took. So we're pretty good shape on that. I just hope there's still enough drones to. We've got some drones walking. I just hope there's enough to get them mated.
Oh, I'm sure you. I mean, that cutout I did this past weekend is loaded with drones.
Really?
I mean, and mine's kind of like yours. You know, a few. Every colony's got a few, right? But
Right. Yeah.
now they're starting to lay them up and cap them good now.
Yeah. Craig, are your boys going to keep helping you keep bees? Do they own any of the hives? They're going to keep helping me keep bees until they're grown. they just, as long as they live here, they just don't know it yet.
That's a chore.
Yeah, that's part of life in this household, and they're going to work and they're going to learn how to be responsible and what a hard day's work is. But actually, I'm going to keep bees forever. Obviously, I'll keep about 50 hives myself, and when they turn 18, I'm going to turn the whole operation over to them and say, here it is, do with it as you want. Keep it, sell it, do whatever. I don't care what you do with it, but make sure they have to do it together. And if one of them don't want in on it, the other one has to buy them out. So, or buy the other share if they don't want to do it. But I have no doubt. I think they'll do it. They may not do it at this scale, but I think they'll always have bees.
Well, how many do you have now?
About 100.
100.
Yeah. And if these go well, we'll have if the series goes well and we get to 32 from these 2 that we're trying to split and show people how to make bees, that'll be 132, but I'll probably sell all those off.
I saw a series similar last year. It was Black Mountain Honey did my first nucleus colony, where they split a deep colony down to, I guess, 5 nukes, and then 5 to 10, 10 to 20, and it was ready to split again. He's like, I just don't have time to finish the series, but we could have got 40 out of one colony.
It's not hard to do if you have the time to do it.
And the queen.
And you have to stay on schedule with it. And luckily I've got the time to do it, and but without if somebody works a full-time job and has family and all that, it's very difficult to stay on that schedule, and you're going to lose bees to swarms. But a lot of people think, well, I got to raise my queens to do this. You don't. They're going to raise queens themselves because you're going to want to swarm. Throw that double screen board in, make you split over the top. If it don't work out, recombine them and do it again. But use them swarm cells. Any cell you get, use it. And swarm cells, in my opinion, are the absolute best queen cells that can be made. I can't make a queen as good as a bee can. And whenever a swarm cell is made, it was intentionally made. They done it from the get-go, and they wanted a good queen. So if I see a swarm cell, I use it. So
right.
See, that was my problem last year working turnarounds. I had swarms and couldn't get to everything. And now this year they got me on 5 days a week, and then I have farmers market on Saturdays. So Sunday's basically my only day between trying to get a little rest and getting bee work done.
I hadn't worked 5 days a week outside of beekeeping in 5 years. A hard week's work would kill me.
Well, that's what
Bob's trying to build up. What you got? You're trying to go at least 20 hives or more.
20 hives would be no problem, because I got 23 frame nukes coming. So that's a given 20. So
Bob, how many are you running?
right,
How many colonies?
right now, let me see. I added the cutout colony and 2 more. So I'm probably right now just sitting at 21.
Okay.
But I went into winter closer to 30, but a lot of them were weak splits that didn't build up in time. And a lot of mine are going to get requeened this year. They just don't know it yet.
Well,
but
we requeen every year if we can. I mean, right after the honey flow, we requeen if we can. Sometimes it don't work out. Sometimes we don't have the queens. But
I got some queens last year, and Charlie and I have talked about this before. And I don't know what it was. They were just very, I'll call them lethargic for a lack of a better word. They just didn't want to get ramped up and going.
Right.
And you know, obviously I'm not a big honey producer, but I could definitely go for some queens that want to do their job. You know what I mean?
What stock do you run? See, that's why we run Italians, because they build up so much better. I can split them early and make up numbers and still make a honey.
Now
crop.
I got those queens from Cutic, and
We're partially Cardi.
so they're Carney Italian cross probably.
Yeah, Carney's built up a little slower, but the problem with Italians are, I mean, Italians are sometimes just mean, and they're very prone to robbing, and they will eat you out of house and home. I mean, my sugar bill is tremendous.
But see, you're doing it wrong, man. You need to go down to. You're right around Charlotte. You need to be going to Domino and getting your syrup from Domino.
You told me that. You need call me one day when you have a chance, and we'll talk about that, because
it's $10. You take your 5-gallon pail over there. It's $10 for a 5-gallon pail of 2 to 1, and then I break that down into 2 5-gallon pails.
Now, will
Craig's
will they fill up more than a 5-gallon pail?
From what I understand, you can. I've never taken a tote over there myself. You probably just have to call them ahead of time.
Okay.
And tell them what you need, and they'll hook you up probably.
Yeah, because mixing sugar syrup, I don't know if y'all seen our videos. We mix it in 55-gallon drums, and then we have to pump it out of the drum into our tank on our truck or whatever. And you know, the best beekeeping equipment I've ever bought is a loader and my syrup pump. I mean, that's
here we go. What about the loader? Here we go. Charlie's already smiling when you said loader.
Well, I've got
several. He's got a tractor loader, I think, aren't you? Don't you got a John Deere?
I've got 2. I've got a New Holland actual front end loader or skid steer, and then but it's so heavy to haul and all that. I don't typically use it for bee work. I just use it for clearing bee yards and stuff like that. But I've got a John Deere tractor that I've got a bucket and forks on. That it's a compact tractor that is perfect for working bees. It's light. Well, I mean, it's not a light tractor, but I mean, it's 30 horsepower, but it'll lift anything I need it to lift, and it's small enough. It's small enough to haul. I can carry my bush hog on it if I need to clean a bee yard up, and still have room on the trailer for bee boxes. You know, because we still don't have a flatbed. We're wanting one, but you
either got to buy one that's like a 1978. That's
I've been looking at them, man, but every time I find one, it's just awful, and I don't want to. I don't want to buy something that's junk, but so I'm gonna keep saving and let the bees buy me a new one.
Well, you were talking about, I apologize because I wasn't expecting you to be going live, and I jumped in kind of late because I had to run to Staples and buy some packing lists so I could send some swarm lure to Canada. But but that double screen board, man, what you talking about? That makes splitting so easy, making nukes so easy.
It's the best thing ever, and I've been using them for 20 years, but nobody knew about them. Even Kent Williams taught me about them a long time ago. And we had a local cabinet shop that would build them for us relatively cheap out of scraps that they had for cabinets. And we would just paint them good. And Well, they went out of business. And when they went out of business, they started falling apart. And with lumber prices, I can't build them hardly for what I can buy one for. So I
Well,
actually bought
I
some
bought
from
them at
Bob.
Hive Life from Bob Benny,
Those are the best double screen boards you'll ever buy.
and
I've beat them
I
to
think they were
death.
$30 a piece or something like that is what he charged at Hive Life.
I beat them to death. I mean, now I painted them good too, but
I ran over one with my truck, and it's still no problems.
Those are the best double screen boards you'll find, and I've tried a bunch of them, but they work really good.
I just picked a couple of them up from Better Bee. It's got the little, I don't know if you can see there, the little rotating entrance on three sides of it.
It'll work fine. Just be careful with it and paint it up.
Yeah, they were $30 each.
All I did was
it gets you on shipping.
All we did was take a like for the split, we just took like 4 frames of brood, based about 2/3 of the brood. We moved into a box over the normal brood chamber, shook all the bees down, put a queen excluder on, dropped the box on there, let the nurse bees and bees migrate up and cover the frames because they know how many they need to keep it warm.
Amen.
So pull that box. I came back the next day, pulled the box off, threw the screen bottom board on, and threw it on. Boom, split.
Done.
Yep.
Move on. But yeah, we're raising queens now. We've got 5 for the series that we're doing. Didn't want to raise a bunch because it's a little early still, and those may not get mated. But if they don't, we'll do it again. And by that time, they should be mated fine. But it's beekeeping's as hard as you make it. And YouTube, everybody has different ways of doing things, but it's not wrong. And I learn from everybody. I learn from all you guys. I watch your stuff when I can. Now, I get busy a lot, and it's hard for me to catch up. But I'm still so far behind catching up on people's videos that I'll never get caught up. But I learn a lot.
I remember last year when I grabbed that block of wax out of my coat pocket and was rubbing it on the plastic foundation. You said, I've been keeping bees for 20 years, and I never thought
of it.
Keep a block of wax in my pocket.
Never thought of it, but it works. And now guess what I keep in my pocket?
A block of wax.
So,
you
Craig,
make
what's
a little
your
crayon out of the toilet paper roller? Roll your little oil on the inside and fill it full of wax, and then once it hardens, just peel it off. And basically, you got a big wax crayon.
I think I saw Jason Christman do that before.
Yeah, it's like I would try to eat it. I'd think it was one of them sherbet push pops. There I'd be eating wax on a video. But no, that is a good idea. I mean, everything's a good idea. And everybody tells you can't do so much with bees, but 90% of what people say you can't do is because they don't have experience doing it, or somebody else told them you can't do it. And just try it. See if it works.
Well, I was told by somebody last year not messing with my bees for 3 months. I didn't make a video, didn't even get in my bees, that I wasn't going to have none left. I got out there and they were stronger than ever because I didn't mess with them.
Hey, there's something to be said about leaving the bees alone too, because that one colony that on that, I call it Nucleus Row, where I had all those nukes. There was one colony that was a nuke. I moved it to a 10 frame. I put a 10 frame in a medium and then just left it. I never did anything to that colony. And I went out there yesterday, son, talk about the bees, the medium slam full of bees. The deep slam full of bees. And then I was like, man, I got to add them some space. So then I added them a box of comb on there so they could move up in between.
Well, I can't wait to see how mean this yard's going to be, because we're going to be in these bees all the time. And the more you're in them, the more they get agitated. So we're going to have some mean bees coming up. But, it's so funny. People's like, I see everybody wearing gloves on YouTube or not wearing gloves. And that's easy to do if you're only in a couple colonies. But when you get into 30 in a yard, by the time you're in them 30s, boy, they tearing your hands up. Yeah. There's so much alarm pheromones on your jacket and your hands and everything else. They're eating you alive. So
speaking of which,
I find as long as I have a nectar flow that's rolling pretty good, I can go out there with just a veil. But if the nectar ain't coming in hard, you better suit up.
I suit up every time. I'm a wimp.
I got to show y'all something. You
That's
know,
me.
the dirt rooster was laughing at me for getting stung so many times the other day, right? All y'all were too on that cutout. But he sent me a text today. He got 26 stings in his one hand. You see how
Yep.
I swole it up?
Yeah,
He
I seen
said-
his comment earlier. He said that's the meanest bees he's seen in years.
And my question is after the 4th or 5th stung, don't you think you ought to put gloves on?
He did have he said he had he had those nitrile gloves on,
Yeah.
but they go where the thumb strap is from the jacket. They were attacking him right around the thumb strap.
Yeah, he said he suited up, I think, as soon as he was getting out of the truck.
I suit up before I get in a bee yard. I'm a wimp. I'm telling you, I don't like pain.
I had my eyes swole shut a couple of weeks ago.
My kids have too because they don't
That's because
listen.
Renee smacked the crap out of you.
Larimore Farms. I built several double screen boards and they propolized them closed. Just pour some rubbing alcohol on it; it'll dissolve it. And spray it off with a hose pipe. You'll be good to go.
You might be leaving it on there too long.
Yeah, probably so.
That sounded like leaving a NICOT system in too long.
So when you're running your production highs for honey, what's your setup, I guess you would say? Are you running a single brood chamber?
I run single brood
chamber management. That's an
single
inside
brood,
joke.
single brood chamber with an excluder.
Now, do
depending
you
on
get
what I'm
into
trying to
them
do.
and do you equalize them throughout the honey flow?
I
so they don't
equalize them.
swarm?
I equalize them early March. As soon as it's warm enough to get in there and really mess with them, I'll go through every colony and equalize them. And then I throw a queen excluder on. Now, we've got drone combs, so it makes it a lot easier. They're more apt to go up.
Else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Brad up in Manitoba. That's one thing that he kind of let us know here a couple of weeks ago is he keeps a drone frame in there and gives them a place to build drone. And then you don't have all that problem of putting drone brood on top of the frames and all that kind of stuff.
Right. And if we don't have drone comb, what we'll do is we'll take a super that does, and we'll put a comb in there and let the queen get up there and start laying a little bit. And once that hatches out, we'll put the excluder back on, and then they'll be more apt to draw that out.
See, that's what I was doing at first. I was leaving that excluder off to let the bees come up and start drawing out that wax foundation.
Well,
And then I would put an excluder on. But now I just run the single deep on bottom and I stack my mediums up. The only thing I run excluders on is my comb honey.
Right. And we overwinter in singles too. It's easier for us. I can keep food on top of the cluster all winter long, and we don't have a harsh winter here. So I can feed that box up to get it to about 85 to 90 pounds in the fall, and then put some sugar blocks on top of it and call it good generally. Early spring, as soon as it's warm enough to get into them, I throw a pollen patty on them. And
have you already Appleguard?
I didn't do it this year because we didn't have a high mite count. I checked a few, but I do use Appleguard a lot in the spring.
I Appleguard because I watched your video.
Yeah.
Last year when you were putting strips on, and I ordered them, and by the time they came, I was like, well, he's north of me. If he's already done it, I'm late already. So I ended up saving them until after the flow.
Yeah.
And then
There's a lot of stuff going on about people saying it's not working, and the mites are becoming resistant to amitraz and all. I hadn't found that to be the case. Sometimes I think you just get a bad strip, or there's something else going on. I've never seen it not knock the mites down. Now, it might not completely eliminate all the mites.
It never will.
But it does knock them down. I've never had a problem with it not knocking them down. And in the springtime where me and Bob's at, that's the only option you've got. Because formic, it's not warm enough really most of the time to work. And if it does, it's going to set them back so far. It's not going to work. The temperature's not good enough for Apagard to work. So you've got oxalic acid or Apivar, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've done so far is the OA.
So I've used
Um,
Apivar now in the spring and oxalic acid in the fall.
Yeah.
Are you? What time are you? Weren't you using Apagard? What? June, July, something like that, or?
Yeah, as soon as I pull my honey off, probably around the last week in July, the second to last week in July, I'll
Mhm.
start my mite treatments. And what I do, if it's hot where we're at, so I use
Yeah, it is here too.
I use 25 to 30 milliliters per treatment, and I do 4 rounds of it a
Hey,
week
you have
apart.
any queen issues doing it that
No,
way?
I hadn't. No.
I got a tub myself, and of course, like after you watch Bob Benny do it, it's like, well, shoot, that's no problem at all. It's easy. You know, you can also adjust the dosage. You know,
Right,
the
but you got to go back through and make sure it worked. That's the biggest thing, because if it didn't work, you need to do something else. But Apagard works really well, but you have to do that
early on.
early, and you got to get those 4 treatments on it. You know, the directions say, I think
It's
2 or
50
3.
per 2 weeks, but I think it's a little harsh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can't use 50 milliliters here. I mean,
Yeah, well, you're what, 80 degrees at least, or 90?
no, we're in the mid 90s.
Yeah,
when
mid
we're
90s,
treating.
right?
And it's humid, and your bees are toast if you use 50 milliliters.
Well, you're about.
Well, I think a lot of them they don't take humidity into the into the equation. I
Right?
think
No, humidity is a big factor. I mean,
that's what I say about Formic Pro. I was this year I did Formic Pro, then Apivar, and then oxalic acid in the winter.
yeah,
And I tell people, I said, look, I want that temperature to be a little bit below 80 with low or no humidity, and I'll once in a while I'll catch a week like that. And that's when I'll drop them. But and all that. So it's worked for me. I got my my report back from the National Bee Survey from around the United States, and my mite load when they did it out of 8 different hives was a 0.2. So they found 2 mites and 1,100 bees.
that's exceptional.
Well, I had, like you say, I start in August, and I've come to the conclusion if you don't have the honey supers on, you better be treating for the rest
Absolutely.
Rest of the year.
Now, what
And, you know,
would you call the highest humidity that you would want to use the Formic with? I can say around 80 degrees. What would be the highest humidity on that?
For Formic Pro?
I don't use Formic, so I have no idea.
I don't either.
But I can tell you who can tell you. Is Kent Williams. He can tell you he uses Formic and he does a flash treatment. It's not a full treatment. It's only on for like 24 hours. Then it takes it off. But I don't remember all the details of it because I've never used it. But it knocks down the mites pretty well, according to him. And you can use it in the heat, but it's like a half dose for 24 hours, and it's totally off-label, use of it. So I would recommend you get in touch with Kent and talk to him about that because he could tell you about it. But
Because
I'm not that familiar with it.
Our temperatures down here and humidity and all, I mean, I don't think I would be able to use it at all. Because, and if you look at 7:30 my time, so y'all 8:30 on the East Coast,
Right?
7:30, I'm still 76 degrees, and we looking 76% humidity.
Yeah,
right here.
Formic kills 80% of the mites in the first 3 days. Yeah, I'm sure it does. They say it's great, but I've
And
just
10%
never
of the
used it.
queens here.
Yeah, it would at my place where we're at, definitely. I'll tell you something that I did one year just as a trial is I took, and I know oxalic acid vapor does not kill mites under the cappings. We all know that. It's set in stone, but I did it during the spring and summer. I did 5 rounds at 5 days apart.
That's what I
Mhm.
do. Five days apart for 5 rounds.
because you can use it during the honey flow. And I did it 5 days apart, and my bees looked the best they had ever looked.
Now I
And
don't use it
I
when I
still
got
did my regular treatments also later in the year.
Yeah.
But my bees absolutely looked the best they had ever looked by doing that.
They all say 3 different types of treatments, and that's what I've been doing here the last couple of years. And it definitely, if you can suppress the mite, you're never going to get them all, but if you suppress them down,
Well, that's the thing. I think if you can keep them suppressed, everybody sees when the bees dip the chart and the mites go up. But if you can keep them mites low, real low,
right straight
you have a
across.
hard time ramping up at season. That's been my philosophy.
That's absolutely right. What people don't realize is bees, the queen will outproduce the mites during the honey flow. She will absolutely outproduce 90% of the pests and problems during a honey flow. It's when when the flow's over and she starts cutting back on brood rearing and egg laying, the bee population's going down, but the mite population's expanding. So that's when you really have to be careful. A lot of people look at your bees and say, well, my bees look good. They're growing, and then the honey flow stops and you've harvested all the honey and they don't have nothing to eat or brood on and you're not feeding them, but the mites are going to continue to grow. But if you're knocking them down every 5 days, it helps, especially until you can get your whatever regular mite treatment you're going to use that's effective for mites under the cappings.
Now, if you actually look at it, I mean, it's kind of a contradiction if you say when the brood starts going down, her brood laying go down, the mite goes up. But when does the mite lay eggs? Where do they lay them? In the brood cells, and they're capped. So you would think your brood production's going down, your mite should go down because there's nowhere for the mite to lay their eggs.
Right, but
it's
see,
really just the opposite.
She hadn't totally stopped laying eggs.
Yeah.
So all those mites are finding any open, cell that they can get into, and 2 or 3 mites are coming out of the cell.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying you would think, though, it'd be a contradiction with her laying going down, the mite would start going down, but it's just the opposite.
Right.
Now, Michael Buck up here was asking, do you think the OA vape hurts the queen laying?
It does not.
I hadn't had a problem with it yet.
I've never found a problem with it with any of the queens. Who asked that one? Where was that at?
Michael Buck.
And he also asked a little while ago, you're about what, 2 hours for me? 2.5 hours?
You're near Columbia, right?
Yeah, I'm in Columbia.
About 2 hours. What dose of OA? I don't know if I can tell you. A lot.
2 grams or 1 gram per deep.
I use 3 grams per single.
There you go.
I mean, honestly, that's what I use.
That's what I'm saying. 1 gram.
Yeah. I mean, I use 3 grams per single if it's, and I've never had a problem with that. I'm not telling you to do that by any means, but that's what I do.
I used to go about 2.5 or 3, and I've had no issues with it.
Michael Buck, I've never heard too much OA. There's actually some studies done out of the University of Georgia on that. Bob Benny put it on his thing, and it takes a lot more OA than you think it does to be effective.
Now, if you want to know that limit, get with Greg Burns. What we discussed the other day, Charlie, I think he figured out 25 grams per 5 frame was too much.
Something like that. Yeah, it was horrendous.
Somebody he had in his yard helping him out, he told them so many grams per box. Well, they thought he meant like each little individual. He had a 10-frame box split into 3 3-frame mating nukes, and they put the entire dose per mating nuke.
Wow.
And it killed a bunch of them.
Well, I mean, you got to learn. I mean,
but the way I did it was I had that.
Don't quote me. It was somewhere between 15 and 25 grams that hit 3 frames at one time.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, that's way overboard.
Yeah, I had that ProVap, and I would fill that cup up with that dipper. And I just kind of, you fill it up and
you heap it up.
You kind of heap it up.
Pack it in there.
That's 1 gram.
Yeah. Well,
We're not
You
on the
know.
metric system here. Let it go.
How do
Yeah.
you like that
That's
thing
what
right
I
there?
I like it so far. It's a lot easier than getting the extension cord out, inverters.
Oh, I know. I'm dragging
batteries.
generators and drop cords. And is that what's the cost on one of those? About 5?
Yeah. I think if you buy it on the website, it's like $4.95. I got it at Hive Life for
Now ask him
$4.50.
how much the battery for it is.
I did buy the 9 amp hour battery and the rapid charger, and that was another $411 for the battery and the charger.
Whew.
But like
My
I said,
goodness.
that's a 9 amp hour and a fast charger.
Did all of y'all get to go to the Hive Life this year?
Yeah, we went.
yep.
See,
I was looking out for you, but you weren't there.
I was out of the country. Gone.
And actually, I was going to look for you last year, and after I watched you on a live stream with your wife, and I'm like, I was sitting with them at the table.
You was, yeah.
Yeah, I was out there, the one dancing on the floor.
You
I
had-
got video of
the
Charlie.
only
dancing
time
on
I
this one.
dance is when the bees are getting me.
Yeah. But now that first year, you were up front there at the Bluegrass concert, you and your
Yep.
wife.
I-
And actually, maybe you were the table next table over. Or
We'll
something like
be
that.
there this year, good Lord willing, or next year rather.
next
and,
year.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll do good, and but
I've already
But,
got I already got
but-
my hotel room reserved again for next year.
Yeah. But back to the oxalic acid, what I did was when I got the ProVap applicator thing, where you push the button, measured what I would heap it up and dump it on a scale, and it was coming out to about 6 grams. And that applicator would push out forward until I adjusted it. And I do that for a whole hive stack.
right.
Full sieve. Now, when you go ahead and you do your single brood chamber and then you put all your honey supers on, you have swarm problems, any?
Yeah.
As far as they
Yeah,
will swarm on you.
You got to keep a check on them, but normally, if you can get them to the honey flow without swarming, usually they won't swarm. Not always, but if you can get them to the honey flow where they're actually bringing in honey and making honey, that generally subsides the swarming instinct a lot. But if you can't get them to that point, which we do by equalizing, that's how we do in splitting. But if you can't get them there, they're going to swarm. And then I worry about fall swarms too, because after the honey flow's over, we push everything back down into a single deep. And that's a lot of bees in a single.
Yeah, I tried that.
Yeah, I tried it last year because I had my number one hive. I ended up, the year before, I ended up with 5 medium supers on top. This past year, I had so many supers on, I pulled 3 off and extracted them, and still ended up with another 5 on top of that. So I had 8 supers full, medium
Right.
supers off that one hive. And trying to push them all back down, they don't want to fit.
And with the heat here, we have to keep the lids vented and all kind of stuff here because it's so hot. And that's so many bees. I mean, they'll literally be covering outside the box. I mean, with no place to go. But you got to remember, the honey flow's over at that point. The bees are declining, and most of those bees are going to be dead within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So they're not
Old foragers.
right. They're not going to be around much longer.
I ordered from Gamber Container today.
What'd you buy?
Squeeze
2 cases of squeeze bottles.
the 321.
So yeah, it was 6. Well, so I got 642 1-pound squeeze bottles for $311 shipped. So 50 cents a bottle.
That's pretty good. Have you tried Sailor Plastics?
I haven't tried Sailor Plastics yet.
Check them out. I don't know if it'll beat that price, but that's where we get ours, and they're pretty good prices.
Where are they located?
I don't remember, but whenever I have them shipped, it's here within like 3 days.
Yeah, that's the same thing with Gamber was pretty quick, but they charged me basically $40 a case, and they're pretty big boxes. They're light, but they're just big.
Right. And shipping gets a little expensive,
Yeah.
but Sailor's Sailor Plastics is pretty good. I mean, they do pretty good.
I know Gamber got me last year. It was $100 and something just for shipping, but when they shipped it, the next day they were knocking on my door. So it's like they overnighted it to me.
And
I went through one box from Better Bee last year, 325, and I went through another box at 321 from Gamber. And then I had to end up ordering another box plus probably about 20 cases of glass bottles.
do you ever get this? I had a guy knock on my door. Do you have honey? Yes, sir, I have honey. What sizes? I told him I got a $10 squeeze bottle and a $15 pint. He says, but first he says, before he asked that, he says, is this raw, unfiltered, unpasteurized, wants all the specialty stuff, right? And then I said, yes, sir, $15 a pint. He says, do you have a quart? I said, no, sir, only 2 pints is a quart.
Right.
They're $15 a piece. He said, man, that's kind of expensive. And I said, sir, you see all them boxes over there? Each one of them is $25, and every frame in there is $5 just about right now. So, no, sir, it's not expensive.
Plus all the extraction equipment just to get it.
Plus the $2,000 extractor and everything else. I'm like, no,
Your
sir.
honey house, your time, your labor, everything. People,
Right.
It's funny, man.
I had a guy stop and buy a pint yesterday, and he said, how much are they? 15. Okay, I'll get a pint. And I said, do you have exact change, or I need to go get you some change? He said, well, would you do 2 for 20? And I looked him dead in his eye and said, no, sir, I won't.
Yeah. No.
That's $10 off one.
Yeah, why would I give you 30%?
Well, I mean, you talk about the extraction. I mean, let's see. Yeah, it pulled up. Just that bottling tank over there. I mean, that'll cost you out the butt there.
Everything's expensive.
Yeah.
And it's hard to make money beekeeping if you have any overhead. That's how we were able to make money, because I started so young. I built my operation along the way. When I got paid, if I could only buy one box, I bought one box.
Yep.
If I couldn't buy a box, but I could buy some foundation, I would buy foundation. And we built it paycheck to paycheck over 26 years. And
Right.
now everything we own is paid for, and that's how we're able to make a little money.
That's what I try doing. Pay cash for everything up front. What little you can buy, do it as you go.
Yep.
Don't get yourself in debt, because, yeah, honey's good. But
I built my own honey house. I mean,
what happens this year if there's not a good flow and you're not bringing in that money off honey sales, and you still have a credit card debt?
Well,
right, absolutely.
I could have been sold out of honey, but I stopped pulling to the curb because I got regular people that have just stopped by and get honey pretty regular, and I want to make sure they have some.
I think I've got 4 or 5 gallon buckets left, and I'll be done until we get some more. Hope asked, when I equalize colonies, how many brood frames do I leave in a single? Hope, I leave 3 to 4, honestly, most of the time. It just depends on what the colony looks like, how strong they are, and how many bees that I need to keep in that colony to keep the brood warm. But typically 3 to 4 frames, and I'll shake most of the bees off of it, and then I'll move it over. And sometimes I'll even take the bees that's on it and boost a weak colony, and I've never had any issues doing that. But
last year I took a whole 5-frame nuke and dropped it right in the middle of a weak colony.
No problems with it. Yeah. But that's what I do. I just eyeball it, and typically I leave 3 to 4 frames of brood in the single that I'm taking from.
Are you pulling, let's say, are you pulling just cap brood out?
I would like cap brood only because it generates its own heat.
Yeah, but I mean, let's say if you got 4 frames of cap brood in that single deep, will you pull about two frames of that out then to leave half?
Yeah, I would leave half. I wouldn't take all their cap brood because they're going to need it.
No, that's what I've been doing a couple years.
Yeah, they're going to need some of that cap brood.
Let me see.
Yeah, I was looking at Brian from Flower Street Honey's comment up there. He said they want raw, unfiltered honey, but with Walmart prices.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not going to get that at my house.
They don't realize most of the time that ain't even real honey. It's mixed with all kind of stuff from all different countries. It's pasteurized, half of it. It might say raw, but I don't believe any of it is.
Well, I mean, to me, there's no such thing as raw honey. As soon as you take it out of the comb, it's not raw anymore. You know, to me, I mean, it is raw in a sense because it's not been heated, it's not been pasteurized, or nothing's been added to it. But once you take it out of the comb, it's not in its natural state anymore. Once you extract it, you know, but I sell honey as raw honey. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's raw honey, the best you can get. But, you know, once I extract it, and we get the same thing all the time. And North Carolina is great because they have a certified honey producer certification. And you can get that. And once you show them that, they give you stickers to put on the jar and website that you can verify me, that I am certified. The states check me and, you know, I'm legit. That really helps me sell honey.
That's good.
And if y'all are in a state association somewhere, maybe talk to them about doing the same thing. Now, I pay a little bit of money a year to be a part of it, but I double my sales because I have that.
Because you're in the Beekeeper Association?
Well, no, because we have a certified honey producers certification.
I don't think South Carolina has that.
Well, they talk to them about it and see if they'll adopt our program, because once I show them that certificate and the stickers on the jar that says, yes, I've been vouched for by the state that I produce raw natural honey, my sales went up tremendously.
We can get I think it's called South Carolina certified roadside stand type of deal.
Yeah.
They may let me get something like that.
They got a thing here in Louisiana. It's kind of like, I forget the name of it, but basically it's Louisiana certified. And then you can get like the little logo and have that put on your containers and everything, any labeling you have.
Yeah. And honestly, there's a restaurant up the street from my house, and I know the owners, and I asked them, I said, can I go up there one Saturday and just set up a honey stand and sell honey? And they're like, yeah, sure. It's at a little small intersection. I went up there and I sold $700 worth of honey on a Saturday morning.
$700 worth?
$700 worth.
I thought about putting Mexican labels on mine and taking it to the little Mexican stores. I mean, seriously.
But I mean, that's how easy honey is to sell here. It's not like that everywhere, but once, I mean, I have people calling every day wanting honey. So somebody called today wanting 50 jars of honey. I'm like, wow, yeah, I'll sell it to you.
No problems, right?
As long as you got the money, I'll sell it.
So
All right, Jim.
I just worked out a deal with Peerco. I need frames. They need swarm lure. So I'm going to trade them swarm lure for frames.
Are you making swarm lure?
Where you been? You've been in a closet.
He's been out of the country. He doesn't know who you are.
I've been gone.
Yeah, man. I marketed my own swarm lure. It's back here. You can't see it from there. Let me grab a bottle since half the people here know already. But Swarm Rustler. It's kind
I'll be there.
So I got a bottling line, doing everything, packaging, and now I'm running out. It's a lot of stores are picking it up. The Bee Supply, Texas Bee Supply picked it up. Fox, I want to say it's Foxwood. Is it Foxwoods?
There is a Foxwood Bee Company or something like that.
Foxhound.
Foxhound, yeah.
They got it. Bohemia Bees has got it. Dancing Bee just ordered a bunch.
And then Craig, Bob's also the East Coast distributor of Apis Biologic rocket fuel.
Yeah, the Canadian rocket fuel that Ian's always talking about, Apis Biologics.
Well, what's the rocket fuel part of it? I know what
you want them to breed like crazy, it'll do it.
It's kind of like the little nickname.
So Ian calls it rocket fuel, but what it is, it's got all of the vitamins and minerals and compounds that are found in floral nectar. And when you add it to your feed, it's giving them the nutrition that they would be naturally getting off of flowers. Mimic.
I used it. I talked to a guy last night who lives right north of me. he had on average, he could find maybe one frame of brood in the fall. I was trying the Apis Biologic. It's not really, it's more of a spring feed, a supplement thing or
Spring and
not.
fall before.
I won't
Yeah,
even
these
call
are
it a, so what did you call it? It's not a supplement. It's a, it just makes your sugar water 10
It's like
times
bee
better.
crack.
Yeah. Well, anyway, what I was getting at is I fed 80 gallons of it in my hives across the nukes and the 10 framers, and I was averaging at least 3 frames of brood per hive of, going into the fall, which normally you don't have that amount of brood in there.
Well, you said you talked to 4 or 5 other beekeepers that had none.
Well, they had one. If most, like I talked to one guy yesterday, I guess it was, and he said, "Yeah." I re-asked him the same question, and he said, "Oh, on average, about 1 frame of brood where he was at up in Pennsylvania."
I'll tell you what sold me on this more than anything. I bought it originally just because Ian Stepler used it.
Right.
And if Ian's willing to put out the extra money to feed his 1,500 colonies Apis Biologics, then it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It works. I mean, now it's like this, Craig. I make 40 gallons of sugar water in a batch, and you put a level tablespoon. Don't know, really measure it out accurate. A level tablespoon plus, I think, an eighth of a tablespoon along with it,
right.
and that's it for 40 gallons.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I mean, you got what's the one package I got for 250 gallons it'll make
265 gallons for 59.
I got the 265 package,
That's
and
pretty good.
and it's minuscule amount for the amount of volume of sugar water that you're doing.
For 10 gallons, I think I'm putting half of a tablespoon in, and that's probably overkill because I didn't
like
weigh
half
out.
of an eighth of a tablespoon.
Well, it's an eighth of a tablespoon per gallon, is what they're saying.
If Ian's spending that for all his, it's got to work. I mean, there's no. I can't.
If you want to boost the brood,
Put
I mean,
that.
that's a lot of money for something that's not going to work. I mean, he's not going to drop that kind of money.
and what's the price on it now? What's the big packet? What's the price for that?
$59.99. It does 265 gallons. The small pack does 52 gallons, and it's $24.99. And the little Hive Alive, everybody's talking about Hive Alive. It does 11 gallons for $25. So
Wow.
cost,
That's pretty good.
No cost comparison.
And like Miss Lisa, Grammy's midwife, said down there, make sure you don't overdose.
From those cracked out bees.
Yeah, she put a little too much one time and had a little problem with it.
You'd be surprised. They really.
It's as far as the money goes, it's not Snake-o. I'll put it to you that way.
Right. And I used super DFM too, and it works. I mean, the probiotics, I can tell the difference. A lot of people say that's snake oil, and rubbish, but it works. I mean, I could really tell a difference in my bees going into winter from using that. Now,
I mean, it's like this Hive Alive, like the guys will say, get that 1 pound thing of fondant that's got all their stuff in it. Well, that thing's $6 a pound. I mean, guys like us, where we got 30 plus or 100 or more, you can't afford that.
No, I stick with I still use Ultra B from Man Lake. We mix it ourselves, but I'm probably going to start buying it in the patty form already, just to save time.
This is the one that you add to the pollen supplement to give it the nutrients that are found in floral pollen.
Really?
$19.99 does 50-pound bags.
Shoot me an email on that, Bob.
All right.
On the details and the price of that, because I'll probably pick some of that up.
Well, I got a website. It's
I won't remember it. Text it to me.
did I message it to you on Facebook?
I don't get on Facebook very often, so
I'll drop it in the comments. I mean, you won't be able to click on it because I don't have a moderator, but
okay.
you can copy and paste it.
And with that said, gentlemen, I'm getting off here. I got to go to bed. But I appreciate everybody getting on here, and I'll try to do this once a every week or so, just to keep everybody updated on the series and any questions you got. I hope people like the series, and I really appreciate y'all getting on and saying hey. And I always enjoy catching up with you guys. And I'm sorry I don't get to go through everybody's videos as much as I want to. I'm still playing catch up from a long time ago, but one day I'll get there. If y'all just quit putting stuff out for a couple months, I'll get caught up. I'll get caught up, and then we can start fresh. But
Well,
appreciate all y'all.
yeah, Craig, Tuesday nights is Lee and Bob's live stream at 8 o'clock at night.
I try to get on there a lot, but with these 3 kids, look, they hovering over me now, saying, "Let's go do something. Let's go do something."
Go nighttime beekeeping. There you go.
Yeah, with a bright white flashlight.
That's it. Q-beam.
And I have mine on Friday nights now. Normally it's 8 o'clock, but this week I've got I'm president of the local bee club, so I got to do some stuff Friday night. So it'll be at 9 o'clock this week.
Okay, well, I'll try to catch up with everybody soon. And
one more thing before you hop off.
Yeah, man.
About the lure. This is a extended release lure vial that's on my website as well.
Okay. Did they put that link to your website in here?
I'll drop it again.
Or you can go to my YouTube channel, and in the banner of my YouTube channel, Walker Bee Ranch, there's a hyperlink. You can click on it.
Okay.
It'll take you to my website.
Okay. I'll check that out here in just a second then. All right, gentlemen. I hope y'all have a good night. Thanks for coming on.
Good to see you.
You too. And the kids said bye. Look, I'm back. I'm telling you.
Bye, guys.
You never get a moment's peace, do you?
Yeah, have a
Thanks again, gentlemen. I'll see you next time.
All right. Good night.
Y'all.
Good night.